You help someone out only to realize they never return the favor. A coworker forgets to mention your contribution. A friend always asks for support but disappears when you need them. You say yes to a request, then feel a knot in your stomach as you realize you're being taken for granted again. Maybe you try to brush it off, but the resentment builds until you snap, withdraw, or cut the person off. Inside, you wonder, why do I react so strongly? Can't I just let it go like everyone else? If being taken advantage of feels less like a small slight and more like a deep betrayal, what psychology says about your mind is something most people never hear. And it might completely change how you see this too guarded side of yourself. You've probably heard it from others. You're too dramatic. You overreact. You're selfish. Or, you used to be so nice. Maybe people guilt you for saying no, or act shocked when you finally set a boundary. You start to feel ashamed, like you're too much, too guarded, or not a good friend. Sometimes you try to force yourself to be more easygoing, only to end up resentful and exhausted. Other people seem to let things slide. You feel a surge of anger or sadness when you're used. And you wonder if you're just bitter or if you're missing some secret skill for letting things go. Most people like you stop here and decide they're just broken or bitter. But that's only because nobody ever explained what your mind is actually doing when it reacts so strongly to being taken for granted. Here's the reframe. Psychology suggests that people who can't stand being taken advantage of are often recovering people pleasers or boundary builders in progress. Your mind is learning to recognize when your needs are ignored, your kindness is exploited, or your yes is simply assumed. If you've spent years overgiving, being guilted, or not allowed to say no, your system is now on high alert for signs of being used. You're not bitter, you're learning to protect your energy and self-respect. That strong reaction is your mind's way of saying, enough. I matter too. Under the surface, three forces are usually at work. First, people-pleasing and overgiving. You learn to say yes, help, and accommodate, sometimes to avoid conflict, sometimes to feel valued. Over time, that pattern trains others to lean on you and trains you to ignore your own limits. Your needs slide to the bottom of the list until the only signal your system has left is resentment. Second, the boundary snap. When you've swallowed your feelings for too long, the pressure builds until you shut down or cut off. You go from sure, I can help too, I'm done in one jump. It doesn't come out of nowhere. It's what happens when softer boundaries weren't noticed or respected. The cycle becomes overgive gives resent, gives snap, gives feel relief or guilt. Third, past wounds. If you grew up being the nice one or were guilted for saying no, your nervous system learned to equate boundaries with danger or loss. Maybe love, approval, or peace at home depended on you keeping everyone else happy. Now you're extra sensitive to signs of being used, and your system reacts quickly to protect you. This isn't bitterness. It's self-respect trying to find its voice after years of being shut down. Most people only see the surface. Too guarded, changed, not as nice as before. They never see the people-pleasing, the pressure, and the old wounds. Your mind is working through every time you react. Here's where your boundary building can quietly flip from healing to overcorrection. Your reaction is a real step toward self-respect. It keeps you from being used, helps you honor your needs, and teaches others how to treat you. But it can also become too much protection. You cut people off too quickly, assume the worst, or build walls so high that no one can get close. On the outside, it looks like strength. On the inside, it can quietly turn into loneliness or regret. A gentle self-check is, right now, am I protecting myself, or am I pushing people away before they've even had a chance? When you see it clearly, your story stops being I'm just bitter or broken and starts sounding more like the truth. You're a boundary building, self-respect in progress. Mind in a world that often rewards overgiving. You're learning to honor your needs, protect your energy, and say no without guilt. That's a strength. The work now is to refine your boundaries. Say no earlier instead of exploding later. Communicate your limits before resentment builds, and allow yourself to set lines without swinging to extremes. Try tiny experiments. Say no to a small request. Ask directly for what you need. Or pause before agreeing to something and check in with your body. Over time, you'll teach your system that you can be kind and protected, not just one or the other. If this felt like someone finally explained your "I'm done being used" brain, you're not alone, and you're not too much for needing self-respect. Subscribe and stay close if you want more videos that decode traits like this without shaming you. And tell me in the comments what situations make you feel most used, because next, we're going even deeper into how sensitive, boundary-building minds like yours can thrive without losing their kindness.